Well, hello everyone. This is Yo Faithful Amanda Splatts, kicking off No Politics Week. Just a week of doing what I love, and what I love is showing my love of flavor. And today I'm doing that with the one and only Mr. Soren Sorrell.
FlaVR's resident bartender at your service.
So
Uh,
it was great to have you here, man. I know we were
Happy to
supposed
be
to do
on here.
this like last week, but like scheduling just fucking happens
Yeah,
sometimes,
scheduling.
man.
It's like organized. If you ever organized like a tabletop group, it's like similar thing with like collabs and stuff. It's always the scheduling is the hardest part. You can convince
Uh,
people to go play a game, but getting them all in the same like hour or two of like time is like the hardest thing imaginable. It's like herding cats.
Yeah, I swear. I was into D&D and I was trying for the longest time to get a group together. Like if
It's
anyone
so hard.
anyone needs a
So
paladin,
hard.
a life cleric in 5e, fucking let me know, man. I'll see what I can do. Maybe we'll make some content out of it.
Yeah, I think
But
it
it
would be fine. It's on my list. Something with flavor, maybe the TTRPG stuff at some point would be cool, like a bit down the line. I don't like DMing though. I've used to do it a lot because I own all the like 5 ebooks. Because I was
Yeah.
really big into D&D at the time, and so I was kind of like, oh, the obligatory one because I owned all the stuff. But I wasn't very good at it. I'm not great at like the not good reactive, I guess. I get nervous if they deviate from like the books or whatever, like
Yeah, you're one of
the
those
improv stuff.
you're one of those guys who sets up a railroad and like if the players
Yeah,
mess
and I
with
don't
it too
feel like
far.
that's really like fun for the player, like fair for the players.
Yeah.
So I've avoided doing it.
Oh, one of the
But
streamers
I
that
really
I
enjoy playing.
And one of the streams that I watched helped inspire me, one by the name of Tifi Weefy Mother Tifi, does a lot of D&D content. So even though I haven't gotten into a game, I have learned quite a bit, and it's a fascinating world as long as like people remember that it's a game. Because I feel like
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
one thing that people don't get about D&D. It's not a competition. And there are dice
Yeah,
for
and that's
revenues and
definitely a
everything. It's
thing that like a
storytelling.
lot of people it can be pretty easy to forget when you want to have like your care, especially like in within the party. Like you want to have your characters like moment of glory type. You know, be the protagonist moment. And you got it's hard to remember sometimes. I've definitely been guilty of this a few times. Of it's a group game, and everyone else you is like it's the playing as a group and prioritizing group enjoyment is more important than like personal stuff, and sometimes you gotta sacrifice like your cool moment so that you can have more fun long term, I guess, with the group, or everyone has more fun.
Right. Well, that's always been one of the big reasons I'm a huge advocate of what they call session zero, where
Yeah,
the
yeah, and
DM
how
just gets everyone together and discusses what's going to happen and how they can integrate everyone.
mm, I've a lot of this D&D stuff I've had has been through like camps, like summer camps and that kind of thing, or like school clubs. And like a big downside that I found with that stuff is you don't really get like a good session zero because a lot of these people you're meeting for the first time when you're going to play, and try as they might, the counselors or like the club organizers, it's just not really like conducive to organizing at that like level. Like you don't have enough time for like the summer camps really, because you only got a couple weeks that you're there, and so that's something like the clashing of personalities, I guess, is a lot more noticeable in that type of affair. So it's, in some ways, I think I'm worried it's like soured my uh, outlook, and I guess made me a bit more. I think it probably led to me being a bit more like the glory seeking with characters and stuff, which is something I've tried to tone down the more I've played and the more I've like been aware of it.
Yeah, you got to be careful, but I know that for small situations like that, there are a lot of good like one shots where you have
Yeah,
pre-made
yeah,
characters. Situations like that, especially for people you're probably never going to see again.
yeah, yeah.
But it just as someone who's trying to make creative writing, a big part of their content and lore and stuff, D&D definitely a great outlet. And I've got to look into. I believe they've got a new module for Discord There's like tabletop stuff in
I think
Discord.
they integrated, I believe Roll20 or one of the other big. I think I can check into like the start activity thing actually. If they integrated it. It was one of like the big tabletop things.
Yeah,
Could've
because I
sworn
know
I can't find it now.
because I
But
know Wizards of the Coast is doing one D&D now with a whole bunch of changes and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, I can't say as like a fifth edition fan. I can't say I'm exactly thrilled with a lot of the changes, but I mean the nice thing about D&D and a lot of like tabletop RPGs is like people may be making the rules and stuff and maybe like buy the books, but it is inherently like a personal medium for your group. Like you have creative control of whether you want like what you want. How do you the rules that they like give out, the design choices, character choices, story choices, you can change because like at the end of the day you buying the book, but you control the story when you're
Yeah,
playing it.
it's
I think a
collaborative
lot of people get like
storytelling.
harp on a bit too much about the changes of the story of the world. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your world once you buy the book. It's or like before you buy the book, if you have like it's not something that's really gonna affect you that much.
Yeah, exactly, man. You can play any board game you want with house rules. You just consider them like house rules.
Yeah, exactly.
You're really just trying to tell a big epic fucking story at the end of it, and that's something
Definitely.
I can really enjoy. 'Cause you can, you can break the rules, bend the rules a little bit here and there, or if you find a player who's found something that's like incredibly broken, because like there are whole channels I watch on YouTube that have nothing but ways to do like really broken shit in D&D.
Oh yeah, there's so much. There's so much. Uh, and I've definitely had a couple games, trying my hand into that type of like the power fantasy with the characters and stuff. There's a lot of really fun stuff you can do there. Though some of it is not the most conducive for a good group dynamic because a lot of some of it's like particular character stuff, and if you don't balance it or play it right, having like the very strong character when everyone else is kind of playing normally, I guess for lack of a better term, is a bit rough. But it's a lot of that's like resolved in session 0, which is why, like you said, is quite important. I think.
Absolutely. And although I did get, even though I've never been able to play a full game of D&D, it did get a little bit of take a little bit of getting used to the changes because I played JRPGs, things of that vein, growing up, and the rules are so
Mhm.
much different. Like everything is strictly turn based, and combat you just randomly generates when you stand on a certain square or something, and the computer
Yeah,
takes care of
yeah.
all the numbers. It kind of had to rethink the way I did certain things.
It's definitely like it's a weird thing to try and translate like it's like fairly storytelling based. And like there's some the fourth edition, which I must admit I haven't played. I've only really played fifth and 3.5. Is like a very much more, at least from the looks of it, what I've seen is a more like it felt more like it looked more video gamey with like the moves that you could like the abilities that you had, how I can see combat playing out
Right.
relative to like the other editions. So I feel that maybe that something like that's a bit more uh typical of like traditional like more like video game based combat. Because a lot of like with fifth editions is like you want to tell a story even within like the combat. Like the abilities that your character have is like just like not suggestions because there are obviously limitations, but like tools that you can use to tell the story of what your character does in that moment, rather than just like the optimal play
It kind of
or
like
something. Like
ideas.
yeah, there's a difference between like going and attacking or like making like a story with that attack, like it just being more descriptive or like creative with it, right?
Right, and I had to stop myself initially when I was creating my first couple of D&D characters because I was guilty of min maxing. Because you
Oh
get
yeah, I've
the
definitely. I think it's an easy thing that like most beginners will fall into. They want it's like optimization. People love their numbers, right?
yeah
So like it's
that's
just
that's what I
I
do
want to
though
make a
because
character very strong.
I wanna get the numbers taken care of and the stats taken care of so I can enjoy every other aspect of the game.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of that is because, especially with like newer players, and I was 100% guilty with it, and I've still fallen into that trap, even like if I've been a bit more experienced now, is when you're making a character, especially new, is you're not really thinking as a group game, and if you're not discussing with your group about like the characters as much, then you're gonna be focused on making your character as strong as possible because you have to like you're kind of assuming I gotta cover everything, I gotta be like the one man army, because you don't know what the other character is gonna really look like necessarily. You don't really know how it plays out with other characters if you haven't played before or haven't played a lot, and you're like, oh, I gotta do everything, gotta be like the optimal build. And I think as you play more, kind of that mentality like fades away a bit as you're like, oh, it's okay if I am like weak in these areas, because my team can cover up the slack, and it adds a bit more for like role playing elements when they're not like capable of doing everything.
Right, and that's why party composition is so important as well. Getting everyone
Yeah,
together, you don't want to specify too much of one thing. That's why when I was trying to put a game together, I always offered to be the life cleric because very few games I had actually had a cleric in them, and I
yeah.
figured
Most
that could
people
fit
don't
in
like playing
everything.
the healer or like that traditional role, like stereotypically. It's because it's it's like the not really doing anything. You want to be big damage numbers or like big spells. A lot of the cleric spells are a bit like less impressive. Now, I'm still of the opinion that clerics like the coolest class in the game, and it's the secret sleeper tech. There's a lot
Yeah,
of cool stuff you can do there, especially like higher levels. You get a lot of really great options.
yeah,
But a
and
lot
when
of
you
people
run
are
into
like
undead
don't
creatures
want to
too.
be the healer.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got no problem with that. Although in a pinch, I am willing to play a barbarian just because I like to be a big
yeah,
muscle bound woman destroying people's skulls and shit like that, as you are wont to do.
yeah. I think it's everyone's like. There's always that everyone wants to be like the big like fighting. Uh, I think most like pretty much everyone wants to try like at least one of like the archetypes at once. I know, at least in my experience, wanting to play that like super strong warrior, whether it's like barbarian or like the guy from if you ever seen the Elder Scrolls Online, that cinematic with the guy with the great sword and like the full plate.
Right.
Definitely, he's taken some character inspiration from there a couple times. Or like the ranger like Legolas from Lord of the Rings, or the super powerful wizard or the cleric. Like it's like the exploring the dynamics and wanting to try out stuff is important, and that's why discussing with your player or like weird group is really nice because you're able to like be like, oh, I want to try this session, or like, or not this, but this like time that we're playing uh this campaign.
Right, and it's great because D&D, and like I haven't looked too into the other stuff like Pathfinder or anything like that, but D&D itself, you got a lot of different options for the. Although I think they kind of streamlined them in the new one, options for
Yeah.
the classes and the races and everything.
I think
Uh,
that I know they streamlined races a lot, which is a lot where my gripe is. Because I feel like having like the very unique racial like abilities and stuff kind of added to like the choice and the dynamic, and it did lead to a lot of like min maxing, particularly I guess for like the earlier stuff. But then uh, when you start playing more, it's like the stats don't necessarily matter as much because it's about the tone of the story, and you care less about that, and you get like the really nice uh tricks that you get once from just being a different race
the
that you don't really
feats.
get once it's like so streamlined. Like the uniqueness has kind of been like taken away a bit. I don't want to harp on it too long, but that's kind of like the feeling I felt where they started making the races a bit more uh uniform, I guess.
All I know is that if I end up getting in a group in D&D one instead of 5e, I'm gonna have to retool my min max and stuff because I always chose human because they got like that +1 and fucking everything at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. They're definitely very good. Humans like I'll feel my bias, especially when I was doing um like uh min maxing stuff because you can also go with the one where you get +1 or two things, but you also get a feat, and that can be really powerful early. Especially, I've played with some groups where we like to start like level 3, which I think is the best way to start personally. 'Cause it lets you get to a point for your characters where you get a bit more like diversity in playstyle and like choices. You can kind of establish what you like
Yeah,
and like what you want your character to be at that point.
when you start at
You
one,
start
you
with a
don't have a
feat
lot of
as well.
options. Yeah,
Yeah, it's basically like, oh, I'm just gonna hit thing. I'm gonna cast this one spell over and over, and like, I think there's merit to starting at one for like a storytelling perspective, and like discovering what your like getting your character to discover what like like what type of cleric they want to be, for example. But I think in terms of like a player perspective rather than like a story perspective, starting at 3 is just so much more convenient. For like being able it feels like you're able to do a lot more.
Yeah, you can start from the beginning, like 1 and 2. That almost feels like a tutorial in a modern video game where you don't
Yeah,
have a lot of
yeah,
options, just trying
definitely.
to teach you the basics. So if it's a group that already knows the basics, that might be a
Yeah,
better
yeah.
option.
Yeah. What we also the group that I was in like to do was we start with like a feat as well to add a bit more like up the power level a little, and then also it gives you a bit more like options, a bit more like customization, I guess, that you wouldn't necessarily get.
Yeah, it's great. Like those house rules for any game, D&D included, just however you want to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
People are gonna complain, but that's why I do the session 0 in the first place, so everyone's
I've
usually on
been
the same
really meaning to
page.
try. I've had an opportunity to try Cyberpunk Red as well as another RPG. That was like I can't say I liked it as much as D&D, but it was pretty good. The world is quite interesting.
Is that the
Uh,
one
and
Cyberpunk
then
2077 is based on?
I believe it's set in a different year, if memory serves. I can't quite remember.
But my
But
like
yeah,
the
I think
same
like
universe.
yeah. And then another one is like the Call of Cthulhu game. I really wanted to try that for a long time. Because I think like the Elder Scrolls stuff's really cool.
Yeah, I've read like San Ruby, the alt another person on my channel recently read Call of Cthulhu for Halloween. I was into the Lovecraftian mythos quite a bit. I have a whole copy of the full complete fiction, and it's very interesting when you're able to a lot of the media I see that has Lovecraftian elements incorporates something I don't see in D&D, and that's a sanity level, like
Hmm.
trying to keep
Yeah,
your sanity as well, because that's a lot of stuff that Lovecraft. But like
yeah,
your mind just fucking going, and when that goes, you gotta you're not in a good place.
yeah. Definitely. And I think in
But
some ways D&D is a bit more like of the friendly RPG, like the lower stakes RPG, because like by base rules you don't really have that sanity meter. Uh, it feels like the stakes are a bit lower. It's kind of hard to die in D&D unless you're trying, depending on the DM and the group, of course.
yeah,
Uh,
because in 5e don't they have the mechanic where once you're down to 0 HP, you keep rolling, and I think like it's with no there's no conditions you can change it on 11 or up. You're still alive, and then anyone heals you past like 1 hit point, you're okay, right?
as long as it's you have to make I believe 3 of the saving throws.
But
And then
but but but
crit counts as crit brings you back up and failed like a 1 counts for 2 failed. But yeah, it's like fairly easy and like in that time if you get healed like you're fine.
yeah, because
That's why some of the groups that I've been in have done like more permanent damage if you get down too often or if you get hit while you're down. Stuff like that to give a bit more stakes.
I remember right. There's another rule where if you get hit in 1 hit for a damage level that's higher than your max HP, that's an instant kill, like getting run over by a fucking steamroller or something.
Yeah.
I bring this all
Something.
up because I've been playing, or Sandra has been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon, which
I've
I
heard
feel
really good things about that.
kind of helps prepare for D&D style stuff, because even though it's got the JRPG type battles, it does have a lot more of those elements as well, because they have the Death's Door mechanic where you hit 0 and then there's a random chance that you'll die or not with every subsequent hit unless you get
Mm.
healed.
Yeah.
And the biggest mechanic though is that sanity mechanic, where there are a whole bunch of annoying fucking enemies. I'm looking at you, Tempting Goblet, where they just do sanity damage, and if you get 100 sanity points, then your character either snaps and gets a horrible debuff, or rarely gets a, a buff because their resolve is tested. But then if you get 200 sanity damage, you just have a heart attack and die.
Mm.
And I feel like Darkest Dungeon. Don't go into Darkest Dungeon like me. Like read up a little bit first, because that game is tough as balls. There's so
Yeah,
many.
yeah. I've got a friend who really enjoys playing it. And he's been trying to get me into that game for years. Uh,
Well, well, when I got it,
it's
it
good, but it
was.
looks good.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say when I got it, it was a. I'm gonna check right now. It was a deep, deep discount. Like I got the entire thing, plus the soundtrack, plus all the DLC for $9.
Yeah,
Uh
I own it. I just haven't
oh.
dug into it yet because I've been it's now it's a bit out of spite now because he's been trying to get me into it for so long.
Well, I can tell you, man. I can personally vouch for it. If you dig a little bit of soul crushing, it's great.
Yeah,
But I understand you about having too many games. I had to do a stream like a month ago where it was just culling my entire Steam library because I got so many fucking games. Ones I've completed, ones I bought for like $1 and never plan on finishing, ones I bought to stream, and then my computer's not strong. Like I got a laptop rig with a i5 1235U, and I was dumb enough to buy a tabletop simulator. I had one hell of a
yeah, yeah.
collab, but there's no way I'll be able to stream my end of that type of collab in the future doing that because it seems to have a problem streaming 3D games.
Mm, yeah, it's a lot more intensive that kind of stuff. I definitely can empathize with having a problem with streaming like my end of collabs and stuff. My computer's fine a lot of the time, but I do require some testing and stuff. Sometimes streaming on Twitch compared to YouTube. I don't know if it's like what the setting differences are, but I found with like Near Automata, I was streaming that on Twitch for like a sec. Cause I thought, I tested it on YouTube. I was like, oh, it's probably fine on Twitch. It ran a lot better on YouTube than it ran on Twitch. So I'm not sure what the issue was there. I guess there's like a settings thing that's different. But a lot of the yeah, not being able to run stuff can be quite frustrating.
Yeah,
When like planning out streams,
because
having
I tried
games that
to.
you want to play.
Because like this Wednesday, not to step on your toes by plugging, but I'm doing Buckshot Roulette with Cara Malone, and I've been trying
Oh,
to
that game
find a
looks
way
fun.
to get that to run because I figured that might help with the numbers a little bit as well because they just dropped multiplayer a couple days ago,
Yeah,
and
yeah, I heard about that. I heard
and
about
once you get past all the horror, quote unquote, horror elements and the spoopiness and the putting a gun in your mouth and stuff, it's a game about probability. And as a degenerate gambler, it's right up my alley. But I could barely stream it first time I tried. So it looks like, and anyone watching the chat maybe could help out. I found a way to run it in OpenGL, and it doesn't seem to be as chonky. So hopefully that'll be a go. Because I hate missing out on collab opportunities with all my senpais, but I also know that what brought me to the dance, what I originally wanted to do, was low end stuff like singing and creative writing and retro game stuff that this rig could handle.
it.
And then I bring this
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Oops, sorry.
I've been meaning. I've always wanted to. I with this singing stuff. I've tried it a couple times on streams. It's always like something that gets me really nervous. Because I don't consider myself a very good singer. My only experience outside of like the karaoke's was I did some choir, for a while at my high school, that I in like middle school. Uh, so I got a bit of experience there, but that's like such a different game than just solo singing. Uh,
Yeah,
like it's a completely different beast because I can rely on all the other people singing with me at the same time, and kind of if I'm not singing particularly well, kind of hide yourself within those cacophony of voices.
right.
So
Like
building that confidence for like karaoke is definitely something I've been wanting to do for a while.
well, I'll fucking tell you, man. I'll be doing one tomorrow night, and it's nothing to it but to do it, man. You just go and put yourself out there. Like my debut, I sang, and I didn't even get like the latency done in OBS yet, so I just sang a cappella. It's just it and I found this is weird, and I found this with myself as well. Human beings seem to be a horrible judge of their own abilities and their own character. Because I've had a few different friends who said I don't want to sing. I'm really bad at singing, and then I catch them at karaoke, and they are quite good. It's about the soul you put into it, man. It's about the energy, and making sure the levels are right so the background music's not too hard. Like
Yeah, yeah.
like Rika Paprika too. I don't know if you heard Rika's coming back and doing a
Oh,
karaoke.
that's great. That's great.
It's not about like how quote unquote good or bad you are. Cause look at this fucking voice singing, but it's about putting your emotion out, man, and it it brings me back to my Oshi Kiryu Coco and the karaoke stream she always used to
That's a
do. I
good
really enjoy
Oshi.
those.
Good
Yeah.
Oshi.
Well, she's not a quote unquote great singer in a traditional sense, but she's got so much energy and she puts so much enthusiasm into it that you just can't help but move around, man. It's all about entertaining and it's all about just feeling the fucking music, man.
So is Hololive like how you got into watching VTubers, if I may ask?
Oh, I I I hate to say it, but it's what happened. It was a pandemic. I
Yeah, yeah.
back at the beginning of the pandemic. What I tell you, I work in the salt mines, Desert Salt LLC, and salt mining was a important service, like essential service. I forget the fucking term, but it meant that we had to keep the mine open 24/7 during the pandemic. So I didn't actually lose a lot of data, a lot of work. I didn't lose any work, but my family living on the other side of the desert, I didn't get to see them for a very long time because of the nature of my job. So
Oh, that
I
must have been
was
rough.
yeah, I was alone for like months, like maybe like a year at least at the time, because we still didn't know how that thing was going to react. And watching Coco and all of them really helped me keep my sanity. Coco, like especially one of my favorite memories of Coco was Christmas. It's the first Christmas I wasn't able to spend with my family for a very long time, and it was her getting over her fear of singing and doing a Christmas karaoke with a buddy Hachima who'd recently come back, and that just touched my heart, man.
Oh, I'll have to catch that. Yeah, I got started. My Hololive is like my introduction to VTubing as well. It's a kind of a funny story. I think I've told it a couple times on stream, but I guess it bears repeating here. Which is I'm scared of squirrels. It's like a bit of an irrational fear. I could argue that it's rational, but most people would disagree.
Oh man, those
And
things carry
so
fucking disease, man. You gotta be careful with
yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying. They bite like power lines and stuff. They got fangs.
Yeah, man.
And so my friend thought, a friend who I knew was into VTubing, was like, thought it'd be really funny to send me videos of Risu, who's the squirrel girl from Hololive Indonesia.
Oh yeah, Gen One
And,
Hololive
and I was
Indonesia.
like, yeah, yeah. And so they were sending me that to kind of pester me and like, pointing fun at me for being afraid of squirrels. And I ended up just starting falling through the rabbit hole there, and just being like, this isn't so bad. It's a squirrel, but she's pretty funny.
There
And
you go.
then I think that's why Hololive Indonesia has always got like a very special place in my heart as like my favorite branch, or my favorite VTubers. And Mayoshi Ollie was there.
Oh, Ollie. I respect Ollie so much, man. I feel like
Yeah, yeah.
Ollie made it okay for VTubers to openly simp for other VTubers.
Yeah, yeah. So you definitely, I think, like Indonesia branch in general within Hololive has been a lot, been able to do a lot with like pushing the boundaries. I feel like
Yeah, they
not
seem
like
to
in a
have a
negative
lot
way,
more
but like
freedom.
yeah, yeah, exactly. They're able to get away with a bit more and stuff. I think that's been like a pretty healthy for like Hololive from like my fairly new. I think it probably started around the same time as you.
Yeah,
But I don't know, it still feels new to be watching it. Uh, and being able to like I don't know see them kind of being expanding the boundaries and having a lot of freedom is really nice. Uh,
absolutely, man. Kobo, man. Kobo Kanaru. She really took off.
she
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 just
did take off.
she's adorable and hilarious, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Her and
I hate to
Callie.
admit it, but I kind of prefer the other girls in the gen a bit more personally. I think Kayla's
Well,
really
they're
good.
great too, man. They're
Uh,
all great.
they're all great. They're all fantastic. I've also there's the Japanese girls. If it wasn't for the language barrier, I think I'd watch them a lot more. But
Yeah.
it's just
Well, that's
the
what drew
big
me.
language barrier there.
Yeah, the language barrier is what drew me to two specific Hollow Live towns, and that was Coco, who's always also does English, and ASCII, because like I said, with me being a V singer and me believing in the music, her ASCII really drew me in after Coco left, because
Hmm.
her music, her especially her early music, had so much lore to it, and the music videos are just mind blowing. And then later on, though, I think she started. It wasn't till later till she started writing her own stuff. And Kara was talking about this on a stream earlier today about Inochi, her Freebird being such a powerful song, and just I hate to admit it, but
Yeah,
part of the
music's
reason.
like is.
Oh, sorry, I was
Oh,
gonna
sorry, I
say
don't want to
I
interrupt.
hate to admit it, but the original reason I checked out ASCII was because when I first got into Hololive, I found that she had the lowest views at the time, and I was curious as to why. And then I saw her channel was like nothing but music videos and hour-long radio things in Japanese. But I started watching the music videos, and I was hooked immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's like music like a very universal thing. I feel like you can
Yeah,
get a lot of uh, enjoyment even if you don't understand like the words. Uh, just like the song and like kind of like the emotions that music can kind of portray or like give is you don't really need to understand the language to really appreciate it.
yeah. And that's one of the things I wanted to convey with my channel too. The power of music. So I do the karaoke and everything. I wanted to do a stream looking at ASCII's old music videos with the lore and everything, but now I'm getting a little paranoid of the like copyright swatting and every not swatting, but copyright restrictions and everything. Cause I had this one fucking stream, Power Watch Simulator. I'm talking a little bit before the show, power stream doing the golf course. I didn't even have any BGM going, and the stream was killed due to copyright material being detected. So either there was someone actively trolling the stream and reporting it, or like I was singing a cappella and they picked up on it. So now anything like that or any of my karaoke's or anything, I have to set it to vertical mode, like 720 by 1280, and put hashtag shorts in the title so
Yeah,
it thinks it's a
I've
short.
heard they're like less bad on the short stuff. That you can get away with a bit more there. Uh, I think yeah, if you're gonna do like a React stuff, it might be better for particularly just because it's music stuff. To put it in, like an unlisted at least after.
Yeah, because I
I think
know,
that's
because I think, isn't that what Pippa's doing now? She sets her, when she's going to watch videos and stuff, she sets the stream to vertical and puts it as shorts to kind
uh
of game in the algorithm.
I'm not sure to be honest. I haven't watched her too much
Yeah,
either. I haven't watched a ton of Pip. I watch her like occasionally, whenever there's like a stream, but I didn't watch FaZe a lot before joining FlaVR, and I've really started watching him a lot more. There's a lot of great VTubers there, but
yeah.
with watching FlaVR and like watching everyone, it's hard to find the time these days.
Yeah, I
To
swear,
watch
I've been
everyone.
telling everyone, the only streams, like 90% of the streams I watch these days are other flavor members. Like, Cara Malone is officially my Oshi now, I think. But it's hard to just find all the time, especially when you're being a content creator. And like obviously, Uruka's Mayoshi, the singing trash bear violin playing. But I just had to think they'd be happy with me living my dream and putting a little
Yeah,
get
yeah.
kind of get like VTubing helped save my sanity back during the pandemic, and I guess this is kind of part of my my way of giving back to it, putting something back in the world, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think it's been helpful for me to have like a bit of an outlet and like a thing to do. Uh, 'Cause I only really ever really came into this like, oh, I play games. I might as well just try it. Seems like it could be fun. I don't see why not. And I've always tried to keep kind of that mentality, because it helps with like not being worried about like numbers or anything like that.
Yeah, and I have to manually force myself to remember that like every couple weeks. Like this is gonna be a hobby. I'm never gonna make a fucking cent off of this.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's hard. It's hard. Like Hey, you see, have a couple viewers, and it all goes to your head. Like, I definitely like struggle with that a bit, or like the worry about not having anyone. But it's just one of those things where you gotta remind yourself it's just like it's a hobby. It's you're doing it for fun, and if I think if you're not doing it to enjoy streaming, then I question like why you're doing it as a at all really.
Yeah, obviously not to begrudge the people who are trying to make it a business.
Oh
There
yeah,
are people who
I mean
are,
it's certainly. I mean I have a lot of respect to the people who are trying to make it or those who have made it. It's like
yeah,
it's a very
like
difficult thing to do, and so to put that level of like commitment and effort and everything is very admirable in my eyes.
yeah, people
Uh,
like
but it's just
Niana
something
and
that when
Senna.
you go into streaming, if you go in with the outlook of I'm gonna be making like money off of this, I'm gonna be doing this for like the numbers, for like um the views, then I think it's just not really a healthy outlook to go into streaming.
Yeah, and the thing that kills me is I don't want to go crazy over the numbers, but you go to the fucking YouTube analytics page, not analytics, but the live stream page, and to see what the stream health is, because the internet died a little bit here and there to see the connection, and it just shows you the numbers right fucking there. You kind of can't escape it. Which
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
convenient for most people, but it also kind of gets into your head. You
I do
gotta
a lot of the stuff with like through OBS for like stream creation and stuff. That's also because I'm a bit lazy. I think YouTube has a bit better options for doing it through there. And see, OBS doesn't like directly show me the numbers, which is fine. But it also, on the other hand, it's another application to be having like set up, and it can be a bit more intensive.
now. I've been
It,
thinking
like if you're
about.
because you can set it up through you can set up the streams through OBS usually.
Yeah, I do that, but it's
But
set
for
up
like
so I
setting
still.
up waiting rooms and stuff, it's like YouTube's a lot better, my understanding.
Oh yeah, it's like I have it set up. Well, I hit live in OBS, but I still have to hit live in YouTube anyways. I kind of do that as a safety precaution, just in case something goes wrong.
Oh, I think my headphones got cut out. I've been having headphones issues for a while. I'm sorry.
Not a problem, man. Get all the time in the world.
Yeah, try talking.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, man.
Yeah, sorry. I think my headphones cut out. I've been having headphones issues as of late, a little. Nothing like too serious. Just the audio will cut out from time to time.
Not a
I just need to
problem.
restart them.
I think that might partially be Discord as well. Cause like when I notice when I'm actually trying to stream a game with someone, and like Power Wash Simulator recently, I had a little call-in show, and Nicola stopped by for quite a while and helped out. Um, Helped out morally. She didn't actually jump into the game or anything, but like the audio cut out here. Like the reason I knew she jumped on was because the audio for the power washer and stuff. Like suddenly, oh, where's the water? Oh, someone's here.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's all the stuff we gotta hammer out, man. It's all the stuff we gotta figure out, and it's great that we've got a great community here in Flavor that'll
Yeah,
help
they've been
us.
super supportive. Even like since the beginning for me, I've been here. I guess it's like a year and a half now, more than a year and a half.
Oh.
I've been like involved, and they've definitely been very supportive.
Yeah,
More supportive, I think, than I even expected. I kind of went in like I was very unsure of my place. I did a bunch of like the. I wasn't sure at the start how official things were. So there was like the flavor Twitter and stuff. I sent a thing like, "Hey, I'm interested in participating or whatever, what have you." And obviously, I think there wasn't necessary in hindsight. And I got like, oh, I got a little. They had a little fun with me, stringing me along there, a couple of them. But in the end, it all worked out. And I think I guess I wouldn't really have it any other way. Uh,
yeah. They came down on me. Like some of the people came down on me kind of hard when I premiered because I put the marker on the Amanda Splatts character a few weeks before actual premiere because I didn't have a computer or the internet at the time, so I wasn't able to stream. I was gonna start
hmm.
building up stuff with like lore and covers and stuff, but you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it didn't. I didn't know at the time. Apparently, there had been a history of like people call them grifters back in the day, and people were kind of wary about someone who wasn't actually streaming. So I knew that, like, and I've told this on stream before. My first stream was literally 3 hours after the internet technician came out, set up my modem, and made sure that I could get online. Like I went on like 3 hours later. Like that's why my premiere was like at noon or something, because I just wanted to go ahead and get that right in the fucking can. Let everyone know that I was legitimate, that I was willing to put work in it, and now
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
working. I've been working. It's fucking weird. I've been doing like 7 to 8 streams a week, but with my health, most of them don't go past 1 or 2 hours. So I figured that's a better groove for me. Just a lot of short
Yeah.
streams instead of a few long streams. Like just because like with work and everything, and
Yeah,
like
I mean, consistency. I think more than like stream length is what's supposed to. I can only say that from secondhand experience. I am not very consistent. Uh, I tried particularly at the start to like, with the same concerns about being feeling like a grifter and stuff, or being like a grifter. I tried to like just stream and not be too involved with like reaching out to anyone or anything like that when I first started. Besides, just to see if it was okay, if for me to get involved. And then I think once I felt like I'd established myself a bit more, I started reaching out to more flavor members and stuff, and I think that helped. I definitely the fear about feeling like a grifter and stuff, the imposter syndrome and all that, it does not go away, at least in my experience. And I think it's been frustrating to feel like I've been a lot more consistent and uh, better at keeping a schedule and stream consistently in the past than where I currently am.
right, because from what I remember, I don't want to get too into this shit because I want to keep this positive. But if Flavor was in kind of a bad place shortly before me and Kara and Grub and people like that came in. So I can understand people getting bad, but I feel like now with people like Lamone and Susie joining and other members really taking off, really hitting their stride, I feel like Flavor's finally in a good place right now, and we can stop trying to sweep up and we can start moving forward.
Yeah, there's definitely been a couple like periods, I guess, where it's been in, like a bit of like a there's been a break in its stride, but it's managed to pick the pace back up quite quickly, and it's never really impacted it for too long. I like not when I first joined, there wasn't really like a bit of a hiccup there, but like when I started to reach out for more people, there's a bit of stuff that was going on at the time that made it a bit more difficult or a bit more things going on.
Yeah, well, I was
And it
lucky.
kind of made it
Oh, sorry.
a bit harder to reach out there, but in the end, it all worked out. At least my end perspective. So I
Well,
think, and flavors where it is today.
well, I got lucky when I started originally trying to reach out to other people because Kara was built in. Kara's so very fucking friendly and amazing, wants to work with everyone. But it was actually Mina Vanilla, one of the OGs, who put out an invitation saying, I just got home working on Eastern Standard Time. If you want to collab, let me know. So I'm like, you know what? She's open. She's invited. I'll shoot my shot, give it a shot. And she's the nicest, friendliest person, man.
Yeah, they're just
It was
very
so
nice.
nice. And she,
I haven't
it's,
talked to her too much in a while, but everyone in flavor has been just been so welcoming and great.
yeah, but
It's like it's one of the most wholesome, probably the most honestly, community like welcoming, particularly with the
yeah,
members
as far as
that I've encountered or been a
as,
part of.
yeah, and that's what happened with that week. I called it the week I shot my shot because I went ahead and asked for collabs with like 6 different people, expecting to get turned down by at least half of them because I was so new. But every single one of them said yes, and that was so great that I was able to stream with and talk to so many amazing people. And but then I was like, fuck, I have 5 collabs in a week. I'm gonna fuck this
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But
It's
it was
just I get big brain worms when it comes to asking people for collabs and stuff. It's quite uh stressful. That's why a lot of the stuff, like if I'm playing with like say Trout, for example, we've played a lot of stuff together. It's usually like impromptu. It's just like one of us bullies the other into getting online and streaming or what have you. Uh, and usually, like for most of the collabs that I'm part of, a lot of it's like stuff that uh people reached out to me first. I think the only real one that the only thing I feel like I'm somewhat proud of that I organized was a big Cards Against Humanity collab. It was ages ago now, like more than a year. But I'm pretty happy with that. There was like some technical stuff because my streaming knowledge and like setup and everything was not great at the time. But it was really fun to be able to organize that and like get a bunch of flavor and flavor adjacent people involved with that. But
Well, I
beyond that, it's embarrassing that I haven't really organized a lot of stuff like from my end.
Well, I'll tell you, man. I had those brainworms too, and that's why I did the. I reached out to 6 of my senpais in 1 week, and every single one of them said yes. And that kind of tells. And if it maybe if it'll tell me, maybe it'll help other people with that kind of brainworm as well. That if you're willing to reach out, people are willing to be receptive and willing to give it a shot. And if not, like, what's the worst that could happen? You just might have to push it back or something.
Oh yeah,
But
it's definitely an irrational fear, I think, to be like really worried about that stuff. But it's for me, it's just something I just can't shake.
yeah,
Uh,
it's those irrational fears that I had to just force myself, like singing,
yeah, yeah,
doing that, getting copyright claimed or whatever. I just had to do it. Reaching out for collabs, I just had to fucking force myself to do it. And there's as far as other members, I've never had a single problem with another member of Flavor. There are so many amazing fucking people here,
yeah.
but you just got to
yeah,
remember
there's
that
tons
they're
of
all
them.
busy and all kind of working with their own sphere, so they may not reach out with you because they don't like you. It's just because they're busy or they're doing their own
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely,
That's why it's the new girl or new guy. I'm a Babaniku, so technically I could apply. I wanted to go ahead and reach out and kind of help break the ice, and I feel like I want to keep doing that in the future. I want to do these little collabs with as many members of Flavor as possible because I fucking love Flavor. But again, it's like I can't run Valorant or any of that shit. I can't run. I can barely run Tabletop Simulator. So Zatsu's. That's why I'm practicing and working on my Zatsu, especially this week. I'm doing just a straight up no distractions, only Zatsu stream this Saturday. Marshmallows on my Twitter if you're interested in checking that out, watchers. But it's just that's something I can do without running a single fucking program except OBS
Yeah,
and
yeah. The
Discord.
not the struggling to run stuff is something that I've with collab stuff has made it difficult. Like a lot of times I want to suggest something with a collab, but I'm not sure how well it'll run on my end with stuff. Or I find out it's not actually be that good. And I don't. It's something I feel quite embarrassed about a lot of time being like part of a collab and not being able to stream my POV very well because of like tech issues or internet issues or the like. Uh, like with there's the Cobblemon thing with Salty that I've been participating in, and whenever I try to get OBS to launch for that, it just crashes my game, and there's just not really much I can do about it, unfortunately. I mean, I've tried a couple of things,
Yeah.
but it's very frustrating to be like, oh, everyone's streaming, I want to be participating in that. I can still like participate, obviously, with talking and stuff, but not having my like POV. Uh,
Yeah,
I maybe I'll be able to figure something out for that. I
it's
don't know.
it's those brain worms that I've been working, like especially over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, that I've been working out myself. But in my case, I got to remember that's not what brought me to the dance. Singing, creative
Yeah.
writing, lore and shit. That's what brought me to the dance. If I want to be like a professional streamer, I'm gonna have to dump more than $450 into a fucking laptop. And am I willing to put that type of money into something that I know is gonna be a hobby? Because
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
ever decide I want to do this major league, and I know how to put a lot more money into it. So until then, or until if I decide to do that, I need to go ahead and see what I can do. And worst comes to worst, just don't air your end of the collab. You just be on someone else's channel. I might have to do that
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Buckshot Roulette on Wednesday, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I've ended up doing a pair of times. You just it's sort of thing is it's embarrassing. It starts to feel like I'm drifting a bit when I'm like, hey, do you want to collab? But my perspective POV, I was just protect like issues or what have you. My computer can't run it very well. Uh,
That's
Stuff,
exactly what
but
I've
it's
been
just
having to say for people for like weeks. Like, I'd love to collab, but what would you like to do? You got to be careful. And it's great. Some people have like these little old simple retro games they could run. Like, I picked up Ultimate Chicken Horse recently for a pretty deep
oh
discount.
yeah, yeah. I wanted to
That's
play
a
that.
very simple 2D platformer slash griefing simulator, because it's a platformer, but at the beginning of each round, everyone puts a fucking obstacle somewhere on the board, and you all have to run and make it to the end and see who. It's one of those games where I road tested it for like 2 hours. I won the first game, and then I never won a single fucking game again. It's insane. Like, you got people putting up barbed wire and platforms everywhere. Gets a little crazy.
Yeah, I think Senna's played that like once or twice at least. I think, and I remember seeing that before.
Yeah, but that's also part of the why I ended up kind of straying from singing and stuff for a little while, because I didn't have a Steam account before I became Amanda Splatts. Like, my account and my everything is in the name of Amanda Splatts. Everything was bought for this. So when I found out what it was like to have a Steam account and how I was able to set up a wish list, and they can tell you when games go on sale, so you can just and then shit is like 80 to 99% off all the time. Because I think they say that's what I do like Denuvo and stuff. Because the game they make most of their money in like the first month or so, I think. So if you can make a little extra money by selling it at 99% off down the road, and I'm living down the road, I have been able to get some great stuff. Like, when I premiered back in July, they were doing Evo, which is the annual fighting game tournament, and I love fighting games. That was partially going to be some of my main content till I realized how much I fucking sucked at them. Um, but most of the fighting games, retro fighting games I loved, were like 80% off. So that was very lucky. I had content for like a month, stuff that I could
Yeah,
run.
yeah,
So it's just the limitations suck, especially when you've got so many people who want to do this for a living and are able to have professional setups and stuff. But you can't, and this is something I have to keep reminding myself, man. You can't get too many hair about that. You just got to think about what you can do.
yeah, yeah. And there's still like plenty, at least that I can speak for myself, that I'm able to do. And it just requires a bit more rigorous like testing of stuff ahead of time. That wasn't when I went into testing and like OBS behind the scenes stuff. Wasn't exactly, I never really appreciated how important it was going into it or anything
Yeah,
like that.
because
It's just not one
everyone.
of those things that you really think about. Everyone's just oh, I went to this like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna hit go live with the game, and it's just gonna work perfectly every single time. And that is really not the case, fortunately.
Yeah, because I heard a cacophony of that before I premiered. Just stream, just stream, just go ahead and hit live. I can't fucking do that. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But like prepared and everything. When I did my debut, I had a BGM, I had an intro, I had an outro. And when I stream a game, most of the time I'm able to capture it properly. There is some to just there is something to say for some people, just streaming, quote unquote, just get right down and do it, get over that hump. But there's also being a lot to be said for like preparation and trying to make
Yeah,
things
yeah,
a little fancier. Because like I showed you the layout I started using a couple days ago. Not only did I think that looked nice, but also if I'm running a game or something in the little window instead of having it full screen, hopefully that'll help with like the encoding or whatever too. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I can
I
see
think
why
it
the
could be helpful.
professionals do it now.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I was gonna say something. I think it's with the going live. The people that it is to go live. I think it's the easiest and the hardest button to hit at this.
Yeah,
It's very easy to just go live, but it's also it's hard sometimes to have the energy to go live, the will to go live, or just the preps ready to go live. Or to be like, if I want to go live with this thing, I don't know if I can stream it or like what I need to set up for it.
Yeah,
And it kind of depends on at least the day or the week for me, like how easy it is. But it's definitely not something like you can really appreciate. I don't think until you start it. And I do recommend like everyone gives streaming and stuff a shot. I mean, it's I've met some amazing people through
yeah,
here and had such like amazing experiences and stuff that is definitely a decision I'm very happy with.
yeah.
Even if I'm not happy necessarily with like my output as a streamer, like or the content I'm make. I'm not particularly happy like the quality of it, but I'm happy with like how life's turned out by doing it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I noticed that, and I'm hard on myself about that too. Human beings are generally a bad judge of their own abilities, so it's like you can't be too like it's great to want to evolve, and I've been trying to evolve, and I've been trying to learn, but you also can't be too hard on yourself because you're not like you don't have a big fucking corpo behind you giving you assistance and money and sponsorships and stuff. It's just you and your and whatever help the community can provide. And thank God we have an amazing community like FlaVR on our side helping out, man. I
Yeah,
try I try to
absolutely.
big up FlaVR, everyone. I get like I've gotten like the quote unquote side eye from people when I bring up FlaVR because of like other things that FlaVR's been connected to in the past. But I feel like this is a new
Yeah.
era, man. Like we've got a new thing with FlaVR going on, and I just want to share it with the fucking world, man. That's why I've been inviting people to Zatsu with me for like 1 to 2 hours, and just kind of break the ice, just kind of show the people what I love, and gotta let everyone get out there. And but to go back to what you were saying about testing stuff, I've actually made streams about that too, and just like 2, 3, 4 hour streams where I just play a whole like fuck ton of games for like 20 minutes each with my. I actually have it open now, with my task manager in the corner, so everyone can see just how chunky something's running. And I got
Yeah, that's
lucky.
smart. Maybe I'll try that at some point.
Yeah, it's great. Like I just open a. I think you have to. It's weird to get the task manager if you want to go that far to get it in OBS. It doesn't do window capture. Like I think you have to do like a window capture version 10 or something to actually get the task manager to show up. But yeah, I just and the last time San Ruby did it for 4 hours, surprised that I could run and stream nearly everything except like 1 or 2 of the 3D games,
Oh,
because
that's
there were
great.
because there are so many great 2D games out there, like Darkest Dungeon, and I got Dead Cells and Slay the Spire on the docket
Oh,
because I
Dead
got that.
Cells Say This Fire. Super enjoyed. Highly recommend.
Yeah, because I got it for like 50% off, but I didn't get any of the DLC because I didn't know if I'd like it or not, so I'm gonna hold off on that. And I am, however, addicted to Vampire Survivors now. That is just crazy, stupid fun.
It's very, very fun. I see. I went from that, and Hollow Cure came out, and I've been on the Hollow Cure grind since it came
Well,
out.
have you heard about the update, man?
I'm so excited.
My
A lot of
Oshis
my
love that.
favorites are already in the game, with like the End girls, a lot of them in there, and then the ID girls are all in at the moment.
Well, I think the
But I'm
doesn't
still
the
very hyped for
blacksmith
everyone to get their Oshis and stuff in.
doesn't the blacksmith actually play an integral part now? She's like part of one of the mini games or something.
Maybe. I know there's like the animals and stuff. I haven't hopped on Hollow Cure in a hot minute, I must admit. Uh I was close to like getting it like 100%ed, and then I lost my save just because I messed up with like uh cloud saving between like computers and stuff.
Yeah,
I ended up losing it, and then I tried grinding back, but I was not able to get to the quite the uh
yeah.
same place.
I've still got a ton of grinding to do on Vampire Survivors proper, so I think I'm gonna hold off on Hollow Cure until I get um until they go ahead and update with Coco and the casino, because that's one of my things. I'm a degenerate fucking gambler who plays blackjack, and has
Yeah,
tried to
I think it's
incorporate
within the next 2 weeks.
the 15th. Like you were talking about it on Carl's stream earlier, I believe it is the 15th. So
Yeah, yeah.
that'll be great, and it warms my heart that there's so many of these amazing fan games out there, man. Like that, and like I said, I'm a fighting game fan. Idle Showdown is surprisingly
Yeah, I was
deep
gonna
and
ask you if you played
complex.
that.
Yeah, Cope. Not only is Coco in there, she's a grappler, which is probably one of the easiest fighting game archetypes to learn. So it was great having being able to experience that and being able to pick her up a lot easier than a lot the other kids. And they keep adding to it too. Like I think they added Ina and story mode stuff.
Oh, I heard they added Ollie. Like, I don't know if it was recent, but
Yeah, Ollie was
uh,
originally a
since I
shopkeeper,
last
but I
played.
think they did add her as a character. I'll
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to
I've been
double
meaning to
check.
play since she got added.
You got to be very careful though, and I found this out or noticed it because I'm a big fighting game fan. Back in the day, when you had a fighting game come out, you just had all the characters, and then you have to wait for the sequel for new stuff. These days, they'll drip feed you a character like every 1 to 2 months as DLC or like a season pass or some shit. That's very hard to do because a good fighting game is balanced. Like no matter who you pick, you have an even chance of beating someone. So when you put in a new character, you have to balance them against every single character that already exists in there. And you got to be very careful that like a certain type doesn't horribly break something or have a bad
Oh yeah,
matchup with
makes sense.
someone else. So it's constant evolution, and it's great to see these days that you can get new life out of games that are so old with the DLC and everything. It just gets a little financially annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like especially with like the big like the 2K games and stuff. Like I don't even mess with the WWE 2K games anymore because of all
I
the
used
extra
to
stuff.
play it like long before I was watching VTubers or anything like that. I played those and like the Call of Duties and all that. Uh, but not in a long time. I haven't touched the stuff.
Yeah,
I think
it's
once I was like less of a kid, I realized, oh yeah, maybe they're just repackaging this very similar things, uh, a ton,
yeah, it's just the
and
same
I
thing
kind
over
of
and over again, man. But
yeah.
at one of my favorite fighting game series, the King of Fighters. They literally put out an edition every year, King of Fighters 95, 96, 97, etc. And for a while, they just added like two or three new characters, took a couple out, did some music and a new boss. But eventually, even that wasn't sustainable anymore. And they just had to do the normal convention with like 11, 12, 13, 14, etc. Um, but that's the fighting games. Like I know with the sports games that 2K does a lot. Um, People will drop them after a year, like even with all the money they stick in the DLC and the randomization and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Reminds me
it's
of back
crazy.
in the day, back when I'm gonna date myself as a fucking hag here, but back in the days of rental stores, when those places would go out of business, and they'd have like sales on remaining games and stuff, the discount bin, if you got there too late, it would be nothing but copies of like Madden '09 and Madden 10 and Madden 11 and FIFA, like the old outdated sports games with the outdated rosters.
Ah, right, right.
Because once you get the new one coming out, no one wants the old one.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's part of it's because like the players that migrate like to the new game, and then to the servers like no one's playing on like multiplayer, right? Because they're on the new game, and so it's on like a death spiral. And I've heard like this kind of used similarly with MMOs, where if it doesn't like the players in the world doesn't seem like sustainable. If the game looks like it's dying, people are gonna like jump ship quicker.
Yeah, eventually it's just gonna. And I kind of hate the fact. Oh, hey, Sensoka, thank you for stopping by, my man. I like that
Oh
idea.
hey
You got love
Sensoka,
fans fun. Man, you're talking about
thanks for
fucking
stopping
fan
by.
projects. I talk up Sensoka every time I can because he's over in Flavor Core putting out amazing quote unquote
Yeah,
merch,
this stuff's been
coins and stuff,
incredible.
awesome stuff. But that does my heart good to see like how the fan like in Clippers too. Like it broke my fucking heart to find out that YouTube, like I think erroneously, was going after clip channels. Like one of Mousie's channels, I think, got taken down
Yeah,
because the
yeah, that
clips
was like I
everything.
think it was like almost was that like basically an official one too. They went out.
Yeah, it pissed me off because it just goes to how much, and it also goes to that one stream that it got bonked. Just I think it's a lot of automation these days. Like not a lot of
Yeah,
human beings
yeah.
actually checking. With
Definitely
I
doesn't
think the
feel like
AI.
there's great like uh a good like supervision on that stuff.
And the people just using the AI for everything, man. And I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to get into flavor specifically, because AI is just kind of permeating every corner of the world. But flavor with its history and how it kind of started with AI, and we got all the people like Nicola experimenting with AI. It's helped me be a little bit less scared, for lack of a
Yeah, I
better term.
definitely didn't know much about AI or like involved with like any like that tech area before being involved with flavor. And then I got some help uh from some people, some of the favor members, about like setting up AI image generation and stuff for like thumbnails and like all that. And then I subsequently have proceeded to forget all of that information because I haven't used it in a while because I took a couple extended like breaks or hiatuses.
Well, I tell you,
And I've
man.
been meaning to relearn it, but it's just like, oh, it's got classes or started working out and stuff.
Well, I tell
Just
you,
like,
man.
oh, time.
For filthy fucking casuals like me, the easy one is the Microsoft Bing, like Bing.com/create, because you don't have to use LoRa's or anything. You just type in normal words like a normal human being what you want to see, and it uses I think Bing's search engine for pictures and stuff to put that together. Now there's a lot of guardrails on there. Like there, a lot of the time, you're gonna get this dog eating a fucking orange, letting you know that it couldn't generate your picture because it was too spicy or something. But I like
Yeah.
it because I used to use like Stable Diffusion and stuff like years ago, and using all the LoRa's and everything just got so frustrating. And then Bing Create came by, and I could make these 90s anime pictures so easy because it's based on a search engine that probably has access to a lot of those. So it's all about the technology keeps evolving and makes it easier for the common people to use. And you got great people in flavor who are able to explain and help with so much of that. It's fucking great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've learned so much in my few months here, man.
Yeah, it definitely has been a very helpful community for learning and like getting things set up for everything.
And it's great
Uh,
that my oshis, or not my oshi but my senpais, I get to listen to their streams while I'm working on my shit. Like the last few times I've been working on rooms and stuff, I've been listening to you and the Underperformers, playing Stardew Valley, which is a game I think I could probably run.
yeah, I don't think
You
it's fairly intensive.
Yeah, it's
Fine.
you, Tempai, Nicola, and Salty.
Salty.
I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah.
Salty's full flavor. She's adjacent,
No,
right?
no, he's like a flavor adjacent, basically.
That's not a problem. But I was curious. I watched y'all. How did y'all come together as a group?
I can't remember. Let me scroll up to the very beginning of our group chat to see if I can remember. I think we just started with well, I like obviously Temp's been here for like since the beginning. Uh, so I'd interacted with him like a decent amount.
Yeah.
Not like super extensively because I tried to keep myself particularly at the beginning. Before date. Uh, so we just had known about each other for a while, and had wanted to like organize something because we just talked like independently and stuff, and so we did Escape Simulator and stuff first. And then was that just me and Salty for something later? But this is all stuff that happened like 6 months ago now. God, or almost not 6 months, like 4 months. That's time. I'm really bad with time and make memory stuff.
It's so fucking weird. Like, time flows so weirdly when you start VTubing. Like, I can't believe it's been. Like, I haven't even been doing this for 4 months. It feels like an epoch, man. It's just been
Yeah.
amazing.
I can't believe it's been like a year, more than a year for me. Even though it's been like on and off. So it's in reality, in terms of like time I've been active, it's not really been a year. But just to think, like, oh, FlaVR started like 2 years ago, almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, if you really want to feel fucking old, we recently found out on a cartoon that Hololive Myth, the first generation of EN, they're a little over 5 years old now.
I only started watching like after it was before Hollow X, like the Sakamoto Chloe generation, but it was after Hololive Council, now Promise, I guess. Was kind of like where I started watching. So I guess I'm a bit newer to all of it, but it still feels like I've been here forever, especially with like all the VTuber companies have kind of like risen and died and stuff since I've started watching. It makes you feel a bit older.
Yeah, like was it Ein recently went out and all the people getting
Yeah, there's
dropped
been
for.
quite a few. This year has been like the big death of a lot of like the companies. It seems.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I admire Phase Connect so much. Like, not only because it's got Urica and Pippa in it, but because they seem to be doing a lot of things right. Like, they got three
Yeah, they
EN
definitely have
gens.
been able to like get things first like stable and not like at risk of uh anything bad. I mean, obviously, I don't know anything behind the scenes, but at least from the outside, it seems like they're doing quite well for themselves at the
Yeah,
moment.
no graduations and only one termination, which I feel they handled in a classy way, as classy as could be. And they're expand
Yeah.
and then you had stuff like the Fishman that one time buying or paying for I forget the con that it was, but he paid for
Or
all
the
the artist
Hawkeye, I
booths.
think.
Yeah, off guy. He paid for all the artist booths or something. I thought that was a real
Yeah.
power move.
I definitely think that Fishman's pretty. He's got a good head for like the business side of things. I mean, I think yeah, pretty clearly. Otherwise, the company probably wouldn't be doing as well.
Yeah, and I think they just recently like wrapped up applications for quote unquote invaders, which are like people
Yeah,
who
yeah.
are already popular outside. So it'll be interesting to see what's coming now. Like, I don't get to watch Urga much anymore, although she was the one who inspired me to lean more heavily into the music. But it's just so happy to see her and all the face people just doing so well. Like I bring up the J Pre branch because I was so worried about Nasa and Michiru. They kind of fell behind with how popular it became in the EN sphere. But then Fishman goes ahead and drops an entire JP generation, and they're doing well too. So I'm just so happy. He seems to be making a lot of the right moves, man.
Yeah, yeah. I've been really wanting to watch, but just the language barrier is really difficult to watching like JP members. But they're also really great.
Yeah, and that's one of the
And in
reasons.
terms of flavor, like my personal favorite, Vishina, Mima, she's really great. But they're all like super fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like, and I think that's one of the great things about how flavor is evolving. Like Pippa doesn't have like I know Pippa was the Oshi. That's how it started. With the original ones, like the shitpost of the character she created. But now we're getting people who've never watched Pippa or watch other phase people, and that's proven that flavor has started moving away from being a shitpost that went too far and being its own thing. Because like I don't
Yeah,
watch
it's
Pippa
like it's kind of
regularly.
established a bit of an identity stuff. No.
Yeah, and like I said, for better or worse. But like I said, I believe a lot of the bad times are over now. And we've got a lot of positive things coming
Yeah,
up.
it's definitely like there's uh yeah, it is for better or for worse. I think there's obviously I think a lot of respect and admiration to be placed to the like Pippa and the other phase member. I think Ponko was involved. And then Leah, I believe, created the flavor Empreg, but we don't talk about that much. Uh, and
Why
so
not?
that uh, I don't know actually. They just weren't around for as long. They kind of the whole branch kind of died off.
Because I bring up Pippa because even though I don't watch her that much, I was there for the stream that she did about how to be a VTuber on a budget. Because I knew I was going to have to start getting the internet at home to start working from home. So I figured it'd be opportunity, and I followed a lot of the things she said, like don't buy something for VTubing if you're not going to use it otherwise, and try to see if you can get stuff used and try to make do with what you have or already have. Like even though I don't watch a lot of Pippa, I wouldn't be here today without that stream she did. So I have much respect for her, and much respect to so many fucking talented people in Phase, man. That they will be getting their due. I swear to God, man. Past people like Tenma and Pippa, who are already getting noticed. They're making
Yeah,
their
yeah,
due, man. Just much love to them, and it's such a huge inspiration, man.
absolutely.
So I gotta ask you while we're here. I'm dip. As a creative writer, I'm interested in lore and stuff. Like I know not everyone is. Like I actually tried to do a little RPG type series called Desert Chronicle back in the day, where I invited people to explore lore and do stories and stuff. But it kind of dissipated because not a lot of people are into that stuff anymore. I got to know about your character a little bit, man. So you're like a tea bartender.
Yeah, so I was initially gonna go. I mentioned stuff was I really liked the outfit. The outfit was because I drew some heavy inspiration from a creator called Drush Drive Hayes. He does like some MMO related videos. I don't play MMOs, but I really like his content. So
Yeah.
and he wears like the kind of vest. I was like, oh, I really like that. That's a really cool look. I really like how it looks. So I took some inspiration there. I was like, oh, a bartender, like maybe a butler. So I like, bartender's good. It's more like drink food themed and stuff. Then I was gonna do alcohol of some kind. I thought, but then Miliardo had already had the beer, and then Donatina was wine, and so I was like, I need to find something that works. And then so I had a drink called Sorrel beer, but I have some family in Jamaica, and so I visited them. We had a Sorrel beer there, so I was like, that was gonna be my like flavor, I guess, was like the Sorrel flavor,
Very
hence
cool.
the name. And then I've learned there's also like there's hibiscus tea it's like sorrel is also used to refer to hibiscus tea. So I was like, I'll pivot to that. That's a bit like different from like the beer that Miliardo's established, and then the wine Donavi's established, and it falls under like the drink category, and so still kind of fits with the rest of the flavor. So that's where like the I guess beverage of choice came from. And I don't think I did frankly, I don't think I did a good job of really uh, making that prominent in my model or anything. Like the hibiscus tea, hibiscus flower theming, I'd like to do a bit more with that in the future. I just haven't thought of anything super great to do with it.
Well,
And design, and also it was something I was like not when I was generating images a lot for thumbnails. I was like trying to get a specific flower is going to be pretty difficult. I don't have a good technical knowledge of how to generate stuff, so not incorporating it into my design at the time seemed like it made the most sense.
because it's very good. Like, do you do hand cams and stuff like that? Because it might be interesting to see you like making drinks. Like a couple of people have talked about doing streams like this, making drinks for the various different members of Flavor.
Yeah, it's definitely something that could be fun. I've never bartended before, despite choosing it as like my fictional occupation. I got like the license for handling alcohol for a job that I was working at, like a board game cafe,
Right.
and So I was required to have that. But besides like just the pouring out of beer or whatever, I haven't really. I don't know too much about alcohol. It's just something like with the character design I had in mind, I felt fit fairly well. I haven't done really hand cam stuff. It's something I've like thought about. It's just I'm a bit nervous with like hand cam or that kind of stuff,
Oh yeah, you
because
gotta
it's a
be
bit of
super
a thing that
careful.
you can't like unopen the little bottle there, right? Like I can't unreveal, like you can't unreveal your face. Is a more like extreme example, uh, and
You're
so
gonna
it's
have
just
to
something
wear
like
like a
I could do
mask or
this.
something.
Yeah, yeah.
But to go
I
back to
so
oops, sorry.
I've thought about doing some stuff there, like close. I've considered it a couple times doing an IRL reveal dressing. I have like an outfit that's like fairly close to what I wear here. I just need like a red tie, and then uh maybe like a red wig or something, I guess. That I to like cosplay as myself because it's a fairly simplistic design. Which is part of what I had in mind. Because again, with the generating images and stuff, I wanted it to be like fairly easy to generate.
Right, of course. But you
Which
brought
again
up
isn't something I would have thought about when I was making it. Really, like initially coming up with the stuff. It's just something that like it worked well. Sorry.
not a problem. I was just gonna say something. You said earlier, you worked at a board game cafe. Like, if it wouldn't dox you, I'd like to know what that was like. 'Cause that sounds like a really interesting concept.
It was really fun. It was like I really enjoyed it. I can't say I was very good at it. I like enjoyed the customer, like interacting with customers, selling them board games and stuff. That was like the front of house stuff was devoted to more board game, like specific selling board games and stuff. And then we had a kind of some tables set up in the back and like a food area for like people who could come in and play and like have food and stuff. And the food preparation is where I struggled a bit, and that's why I wasn't didn't end up working out. But it was a ton of fun to work there, interact with a lot of board game playing people. I learned a lot about like Warhammer and stuff from there.
Oh,
Uh,
Warhammer, man.
yeah, I got
I've
to like
seen
be like a witness to a lot of games there, which was like just a super enjoyable experience.
that is so cool, man. Because Warhammer, I've learned about it tangentially, and I don't think I could keep track of all those little figures at once.
Yeah, yeah. I've never played it, but I've seen like I've played like all the games that are related to like video games are related to it, and then I've like watched like lore videos and stuff, and it's really interesting.
Right.
And something I quite would like to play at some point. But the minis are here expensive, especially for the faction that I would like to play.
Oh yeah, like. Oh, Sensoka says for making drinks, it may work for a hand cam. Dress as the bartender, keep the camera from your upper waist. Then we can see what you're doing from the customer POV, and you don't have
Yeah,
to work
yeah,
with struggling with working around the camera. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
I trust Sensoka to work stuff, figure out how to work stuff, because Sensoka's out there in
Yeah,
the
that makes
workshop,
sense.
sleeping in the workshop and shit.
The only other thing is I'm a bit nervous because I basically just sequester my room when I'm doing streams. And sometimes because I'm living with my parents, and so I have to be a bit careful I don't get like name doxed by them being around.
Of
So
course.
being in the kitchen, getting stuff set up would be might be a bit awkward, but I could probably work. So I just need to also familiarize myself with like uh knowledge about drinks and mixing drinks and stuff. Because despite like the very technical training I got with it when I was working there, it was like the thing I have the technical requirement to serve drinks. I don't really have the knowledge of how to properly do it. The training that's like a smart serve is what we have in Canada,
Right.
and it's basically like very technical stuff, like how to tell, like approximate how much alcohol someone can drink, like how much like one standard drink is, like shots versus like a beer, and like kind of like technical details, rather than like how to like make drinks and stuff.
That's very cool, man. And it's great that able to help protect other people, especially in situations like that. But talking about drinks
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, just to talk about more lore briefly, anyone may not know, I in real life have not actually been run over yet. But the original character of Amanda Splatts was Roadkill VTuber but she was like kind of an 80s Sailor Moon getup, but she was run over or something. So I looked at the character. I kind of liked the concept, the black and yellow color scheme, but I'm like, I'm not into the 80s anime thing. So I updated, I changed it, and went from 80s 80s magical girl type to a 90s OVA anime gritty Ghost in the Shell slash Wicked City type. Like, what if there was a gritty reboot in the 90s? And that's where it all started. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I love about FlaVR. You can, with the original designs and stuff, you can take as little or as much as you want from the characters, or you can do like you just create a 100% original character enjoying.
Yeah.
I love
And I
how
think
there's just so much freedom, man.
I like the free. And I think one thing in particular I really liked with FlaVR was part of the motivator for like, hey, me reaching out and being like, hey, can I get involved? I really liked that there was a theme to it. 'Cause I feel like a lot of VTubing stuff, like VTubing generation stuff, there isn't necessarily a coherent theme among the gen mates and stuff, or definitely not the company. But like with flavors, we had like the food and like the food and drink theme and stuff, and just really a lot of creative stuff you could work with while still being like respectful, or I don't know how to put it, but like related to the theme. I thought that was like a really cool thing that I hadn't really seen much outside of flavor. That's why I wanted to make something that was very connected with like drinks and stuff, and I half succeeded. I'm still not quite happy with like the portrayal, how I portrayed like the hibiscus tea stuff, and I think I could have done a better, in hindsight, done a better job with like my character design and stuff to make it uh reflect it better.
Well, that's a great thing,
But it was
man.
definitely a part of the motivation for
Well,
it.
that's the great thing, man. You can just you can change, you can evolve, you can do whatever you want with yourself, man. And I'd love to see you trying out Bing or maybe one of the more technical ones, and trying with the hibiscus. Like, if I got to be up a little early in the morning for obvious reasons that I won't talk about this week on this channel, but I might try go and see what I could gen out now that I know that the hibiscus is actually part of it. But I bring this up because I do love the flavor, actually food slash drink theming, until I realized that technically I was roadkill stew. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons I lean so hard on the Jack Daniels in my first month or so here. It's like, no, man, my flavor is whiskey Jack. No, you're still roadkill. I still get Otsu roadkill every once in a while. So now if I whatever, I will accept my fucking fate. Hey, Kara
Yeah,
Senpai, thanks for stopping by, man.
I think what's nice is there's a lot you can do, even like regardless of what your like food or thing is. There's like I feel like there's a lot of options and stuff.
Yeah, and I was actually able
And
to integrate the roadkill thing into my lore, and I will be doing some creative writing on Wednesday to that wit, where I was actually run over by the isekai truck, the overused fucking trope, that turned me into a magical girl, but I'd still gotten run over. So I dragged myself to a cave where a coyote god was sitting, and the rest of the say is history. That's where I got Sand Ruby from. And it's been great to experiment with like these alternate characters and other people coming across the desert. And it's just so much freedom to do what I want, and freedom to try different things, see if they work or not.
yeah, I
I feel
haven't
like
really done a lot with like my lore personally, but I think like a lot of the with the appeal of like flavor as like a themed and like lore and stuff is an underappreciated thing for like VTubing, and I feel like you don't see it a lot, particularly with like big corporations, big generations and stuff.
well, you see it, but they
Where
drop
lore
it
is like
after like
less
a
prominent.
week.
Yeah, they do drop it pretty fast.
It's great though because like you do as little or as much as you want, and like I said, there's so many great people here doing so many great different things. Like Malone stopped by, all the different types of the shooting games and stuff that they play, and working on the stable diffusion, and it's just great to see. And I think that's another one of the things I love about flavors, the disparate styles. There's so many different things. It's been great. Like when you put a good gen out for a corporate company, You want to have that kind of range because not everyone is going to watch every single VTuber. That's there's just so much fucking
Yeah,
overlap.
absolutely. And particularly with like a corporate thing, if you have too many people in the same niche, you're kind of like bleeding from your own audience.
Right. That you
My
got to be careful
understanding.
of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's great though. And that's why these types of collabs are so great because, and that's why I want to reach out to so many different people doing these suits and stuff also, because I don't know if anyone would have put us two and two together, or might have known about either of our circles except for me popping in and singing with Nicola, but being able to expose our audiences to other people and being able to show our mutual love of flavor in this great company and
Yeah, yeah,
get people
absolutely.
back interested. There's been like maybe a couple of streams that I did for the Noombers. Like the biggest one I did for the Noombers was Marvel vs. Capcom 2 when that came out. Long story short, basically Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of the craziest fighting games in the world. But due to licensing shit with all the characters in it, we weren't able to buy it legally for like 15 years or so.
Oh, really?
So yeah, because like I think it was Strider in there or something. But yeah, it was like from Xbox 360 or PS2 days you couldn't buy it. And finally, a few months ago, they released Marvel vs. Capcom Collection, where they figured out all the licensing stuff and were able to play it again, legitimately, quote unquote. I mean, there obviously there are other fucking ways to play an arcade game, but I mean actually buying it. And so that was something I
Yeah.
did for the Noombers with that just coming out, but it was also something I was really passionate about because I hadn't played that in so long and it was so great. And I'd forgotten how fucking bad I was at it. But that's something I've
I'm
had to
terrible at
relearn
fighting
too, man.
games. That's why I don't really play them that much. The only one I've played like a bit of was Brawlhalla and stuff, a little. And even that, I was just like, it'll spam abilities and hope it works out.
Well, back in the day, I used to just spam fireballs and hope it worked. It depends on what character it is. Hey, Hero Logic, thanks for stopping by, man.
Oh, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing of flavor is that despite we have like the origin of like a single company from like one person, you think oh it's just primarily like their audience. A lot of us we have such a diverse collection of like people involved, uh, from like very different backgrounds, who have just like all stumbled into this like world, I guess.
yeah.
And yeah, there's really been great to like get other people's perspectives on things and kind of learn
I'm,
more from other people having met them and stuff that I
I
think I
met,
definitely wouldn't have not have met. Uh,
yeah, I probably wouldn't have met like Lulu. She's amazing. Dinosaur, PS1 VTuber, and I know Nicola, one of the fellow underperformers. She's the one that kind of opened my eyes to join the flavor in the first place. With her doing the V musician stuff. That's why I keep saying I'm the V singer because she's the V musician. Because she does more than just sing with the instrumentals and stuff. But it was great finally being able to do karaoke with her and everything, and being able to get out there and just the technical aspect. I think that's what fucking kills me the most is the technical aspect of this. I didn't have a computer or internet until like a few hours before my stream, so there's still so much shit I'm learning even after all
yeah,
these
yeah,
months. Like I'm sure there's like one or two settings in OBS where if I messed around with them, I could probably stream some of these games. But I still got to poke it. Like I've got it set so nice now that I don't want to fuck with it too badly.
yeah. I definitely feel that where I don't know enough about my settings, don't want to like change it. I'm sure there's a lot of other things like improvements that I can make that I just am not aware of or confident in to do so. And yeah, there's a lot of people in flavor have been a big inspiration, like keeping going. Cause there's definitely been those those moments of like hesitation or like insecurity of whether I should continue, whether I should just disappear back into the ether. And I think part of it is just all these amazing connections that I've made and these inspiring uh, people. I don't tell her this, but Senna Bonma has been a huge inspiration. Like her streams and stuff.
Yeah, Senna's been
in
amazing,
terms
man.
of from like the flavor people. And so whenever I'm like a bit unsure, I just watch one of her streams, and it a big mood booster, I guess. And
Yeah,
uh,
and and it was I was talking earlier with Mina Vanilla. It was her reaching out to people that inspired me to start reaching out to people. And her content is so different, it's so wholesome and everything. She's kind of an inspiration to how people like you don't have the same stream the same four fucking games like a lot of VTubers do. And if you want to do that, that's great though. There are some great games out there, but you can do different kinds of content. You can branch out and have a different niche out there if you want. It's so great, man. And it's
oh
great
yeah,
that they're
there's definitely
willing to work with us.
also, as Sophie said, there's some really great background support people in Flavor, particularly at the beginning. There were a lot of people who I wasn't necessarily, because I tried to remain a bit distant at the start. I think, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, but even from there, I was able to get like support with tech stuff, particularly after a couple months when I was starting to reach out more. They were very supportive and very helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been really, everyone's been just so kind behind the
Yeah,
scenes and stuff.
it's funny you bring up tech support because I was not worried about asking tech support, and you've seen that a couple times, and I do apologize for this. I fucking menhera all over the off-topic board or something when it was my laptop screen was just not coming on, and I just kind of went fucking nuts. But they had people who helped me out. They had people who helped me out and gave me suggestions, and it was fucking great. And eventually, it got fixed with minimal menharing, and I loved it because there are just so many people that, and I think that I hate that it's this way, but it's the sign of a great support team, a great support staff, is that they keep things going and flowing so well. You don't even notice they're there or they're doing things.
Yeah, yeah,
But guys like
absolutely.
Fred, like Fred Fake has been such a fucking good guy,
Hmm.
man. Shout out to Fred Fake, you're the real one,
Yeah,
which is ironic. But
uh,
it's just been so great that and it feel I don't want to say secure, but you feel that it's a good place, man. You feel like shit's gonna happen, shit's gonna go down, but you've got people there who will be willing to stand up for you, people willing to help you out, and it's a great fucking feeling, man. And I wonder if VTubers in the big corpos end up getting that kind of feeling or not, or if they get worried with like the politics and stuff of doing something at that kind of high level, as opposed to Flavor, where a lot of us know. Like it'd be great to break into the corporate sphere. It'd be great to be huge, but I think a lot of us are happy with where we are right now. We're slowly inclined and working on that, and I feel that just being having all these people at the different stages of their quote unquote careers or hobbies being able to come together, that's great too, because you get so many great perspectives with that.
and there are some really great, nice success stories with Flavor where they've really like Niana's really
Yeah,
made it super hard. It's
Niana's
really
collabing with
incredible.
Fillion, man. Niana's really fucking made it, man.
Yeah,
Much respect.
it's super impressive. She's put in like so much work
Oh yeah,
to get to where she is, and so it's really really great to see.
and
Not
it was
having been there from day one, because I certainly was a bit late to the party a bit. But to see there before people got big and see where they are now, it's really, really like makes me happy to see where everyone is.
yeah, and she did it by completely rebranding too, like the Nyana 69 or whatever it was really early, and now but she completely changed it to the Nyana Banyana, and being able to evolve, and that's why I that's why I admire like wrestlers like Bray Wyatt or Chris Jericho, who have been around for a long. R.I.P. Bray Wyatt, Kendall Windham, who are around a long time, but are able to reinvent themselves regularly. So even though you know it's them, they're able to keep things fresh and interesting.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision to do like the rebrand and stuff. I was fortunate enough to come in with like my own just character idea and design and stuff, but I know I've in the past, or I people have been like struggled at times to kind of find or like with their character designs and stuff, and like taking a character that's been made and not making one themselves. and so like being able to like not reclaim, but like adjust the character so it better fits how you want to portray things, how you want to like stream as your personality as a streamer. I think it was a good decision, and I think it clearly paid off very well.
Yeah, and I know that that's what I did. The Amanda Splatts y'all see is like 85-90% an original character, but I tried to keep as many traits as I could with the long silver hair and the yellow black color scheme and the roadkill thing and the desert and everything. But to have that freedom to be able to do what you want. Like, you want to talk about freedom? We got 3 Dr. fucking Lowly Mays, and they're all awesome. That's
They're
freedom
all
for you,
great,
man.
yeah.
Three great lowly mays who are doing pretty different types of content, both all kicking ass. It's so Soka says they work on the pinch for Donna's plushie. Way to go, my
Oh, that's
man.
really cool.
Way to go. I know you've been
I've been thinking about getting it, but I don't have a lot of funds at the moment, so it's probably a bit of a pipe dream.
I get weird about buying VTuber merch because I've had in my experience in the past thought about buying stuff. It gets extremely expensive, and sometimes you have to wait for months to get it.
Yeah, yeah. I got some
Yeah.
Hololive merch a while ago before Flavor and stuff. And it was definitely a bit of an impulse purchase that, in hindsight, I don't know if I should have made, but it took a while and stuff. But I'm very happy with it. I just don't have a place to put it, so I keep them stored, in my room. But I don't know, there's like some really cool merch and stuff. I just wish I had. I need to find like a part-time job or something so I can get some income and start being able to, get like merch from some of the streamers and stuff. Would be great.
Tuber merch is so expensive, mostly made in China. It's a long way.
For sure.
I'll fucking tell you about expensive, man. I wanted to buy a Uruka Daki. For those who aren't in the know, Daki is basically a long pillow. Because I use one of those to sleep. Like, I'm a side sleeper, so I wrap it around my head and my arm, and it's nice. But a Daki, like, they don't even put the fucking pillow in. It was like $40 to $80 or something. It was ridiculous. Like, I had to ask if it came with the fucking pillow, and it didn't. But you know, you got to pay the artist. There's the shipping and everything. I've heard horror stories of other corpos where the shipping is more expensive than the item itself that you're getting.
Yeah, yeah.
So long term, I want to fix that by becoming a U.S. based merchant. Well, you fucking do you, Sensoka, man. I look forward to it.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be fucking awesome.
I'm hoping that with like Hololive started like establishing more American stuff. I think it was like in California or something. That there might be a bit of an easier time in the future for getting getting merch and stuff, having it a bit easier. But I mean, since a lot of it's made in China, I think it's just some like unavoidable wait times and stuff. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you talk about America. It's fucking cool. We were talking about how Hololive English might have been declining or something, not as popular as it used to be. But then Hololive did a fucking Hololive night at the Dodgers Stadium, I think it was. And then
Yeah, I think so.
the Dodgers won the World Series. So they literally had the power of God and anime on their side.
Yeah, it's I think like I think it's difficult to speculate on whether like companies like all or stuff is in decline, like members and stuff. I think the same thing. I wouldn't know any of like whether Face Connect is. I would guess that it's in like on the rise, but I don't know the behind the scenes stuff, and it's hard to speculate on that kind of thing.
Yeah, like as much as
Especially because like VTubing is a more personal media because it's like it's performance based. It's like it's not just like raw numbers that you can really calculate. It's like the feelings of the talents and how they're finding working there and stuff. It's like,
you
don't can't just like guess like it's the views and stuff are declining. Oh, the sales and stuff. It's like or they're increasing, but if the talents aren't happy, then the company's not doing well because it's very happiness based of the talents rather than like profit based or anything like that.
That's that you are literally the face of the company when you do something like this, man.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's why I, even though we're not really a company, I'm sorry to break character on that. Kuro Core is more like a streamer collective. We're out here in the woods in a cabin eating berries and shit and streaming, but it's not actual company. But I try to be conscious. Like I know I've had Manhara moments in the past. I try to be conscious of what I'm doing and what I'm saying on stream, because I want to represent FlaVR as good as I can, man. And I know I'm a
Yeah,
work in
yeah.
progress, and I'm working on that. And I can't guarantee I want Manhara out in the fucking future, but I am working on it because I want to give you all the best possible experience, man.
Yeah, I think everyone has had those Monero. I definitely have had that. Except I feel like the same way. I owe a lot to FlaVR for finding such like great friends that I've made, and all the viewers who've shown up and everything. That it's like I like it feels like a debt, of not like an obligation. Of I this place has brought so much joy and happiness to me that I need to repay it by representing it as little as I do, as best as I can.
You fucking A right, man. Sensoka, you hit the nail on the fucking head, man. FlaVR might not be much of a company, but it's always there to keep you company. Holy shit, man. I don't know.
Wise words, wise
uh,
words.
I don't know if this is gonna tank the stream, but I just want to go ahead and tweet that out quickly. I'm always like this rig is so weak. I always get a little worried about like opening any other windows. Although it's really helped, Kara has gotten me onto Brave, which is a lot less intensive and a lot more secure than a lot of the shit I used to use. What like if it ain't Doxing, what browser do you use?
I just use Chrome because I'm lazy. I don't. I know it's like not that good. I know it's pretty bad actually, but that's usually what I use.
Well, I tell
Yeah.
you, man, I swear by Brave ever since Kara brought it to me because it automatically blocks ads and stuff.
I've heard it's
And
good with that stuff.
it is good, and I'm able to see how much memory every single window takes up, which is important when something runs as rail thin as mine does. You got to be careful of every single little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, man, I'm gonna start wrapping this up in a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I do thank you for coming out, man. Like I like I said, we are supposed to do this last week, but then things got weird with scheduling. So I'm glad we were able to finally take it. It was glad to pick your brain, man. Like we haven't been able to like talk too much outside of like the uh, underperformer shit. But it's been great hanging out with you and chatting with you, and then thank you for coming out to the desert, my man.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. Thank you for having me.
Hero, Kara, thank you for stopping by, Sensoka. Thank you for being a fucking homie, man. I do appreciate it. So we'll be wrapping
Yeah,
it
thank
up.
you for everyone who stopped by.
Yes, Sora, do you have an outro?
I don't. I guess if there's time to show anything, there's the V recovery stuff that I'm participating in trying
Oh
to help
yeah,
out. And I will
sure.
be matching
Absolutely.
any donations up to 100 USD, like in total. So if there's plenty of other streamers as well who do to donate to, among FlaVR as well. But if you donate to me, I will be matching it.
Uh,
So if
I'll go
that'd be
ahead
great.
and.
But
Oops,
yeah,
sorry.
there's just that's just what I've been trying to think of some donation like rewards and stuff. But I haven't
Uh,
come up with any yet.
Go ahead and DM me a link to your V recovery stuff. I'll go ahead and tweet it out right after the fucking stream. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I've got a tweet out I think pinned as well on my Twitter about it with the
Right.
donation link underneath.
Well, I'm happy to signal any of these people who are doing, because I didn't think I would be able to do it because I don't know if I'm big enough or not, and I
I
didn't know.
definitely had that going in, so which is why I wasn't like part of it right away. I still feel like all of that sometimes, but I think that's why I wanted to match everything that's donated to me to kind of like motivate and stuff. I guess.
Yeah, and
But yeah, but
it's so great. It shows that, because I know the VTuber community can get a bad rap with some of the stuff that happens. It's so good to see everyone coming together for such a great cause, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, do you thank you for stopping by? So I'll go ahead and tweet that out. Just send me that, and do thank you for your time. I am your faithful Amanda Splatts, and this is the Amanda Splatts Project. Good night.